Well, Kraven the Hunter is right around the corner, and it appears Sony has another flop on their hands. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the box office projections for Kraven the Hunter, and why I think this could be the end of the road for the Sony's Spider-Man universe. Well, not too long ago, Venom: The Last Dance dropped in theaters, and Sony finally had a bit of a success. The film has managed to pull in about $430 million on a $120 million budget and about $100 million in promotion, meaning it barely scraped out of the red ink. Now, this actually follows a series of disasters from Sony in their Spider-Man universe in the form of Madam Web and Morbius, both of which were utter failures at the box office. And now it looks like Kraven the Hunter is shaping up to be another big failure for Sony. Now, this is the third R-rated superhero movie this year, following Deadpool and Wolverine and the second Joker film. And the box office contrast between those two projects seems to be pretty important here, because it looks like Kraven, very similarly to Madam Web and Morbius, is looking at an estimated $20 to $25 million debut on opening weekend. Now, Madam Web did about 15 and Morbius did 39, so it kind of places it right in the middle, but no matter how you shake this, making less than Morbius on the opening weekend is definitely a huge flop. Now, Box Office Pro even expanded this a little farther and said, and I quote, "There's a very real chance Kraven's entire domestic run could fail to exceed even the opening weekend of Venom: The Last Dance, the lowest grossing of Sony's 3 Venom films." Now, the only good news in all of this is Kraven might actually win its opening weekend, because Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim is tracking between 8 and 15 million, so that doesn't look like it's going to do very well either, but does give Kraven at least a little bit of good news. Now, interestingly enough, the director of the film, J.C. Chandor, actually has implored fans to kind of give the movie a chance, even putting some responsibility back on Sony. He actually said, "Some of the fans out there, a lot of fans, were upset with certain decisions and certain outcomes of Sony's Spider-Man universe. People have got to give us a chance and come out and support this film and literally try to wash away some of the other stuff that's happened. Give our film a chance." Now, honestly, guys, I've never heard a director pleading with fans like this to try to give a film a chance. So that tells me behind the scenes, this $20 to $25 million number might actually be really optimistic, and the film's going to do much worse. Now, to be fair, Aaron Taylor Johnson looks great as Kraven the Hunter, and some of the action set pieces we've seen in the trailers do look pretty cool. But it's pretty clear to me most superhero fans and the general comic book movie audience is really not connecting with Sony's villain films, and honestly, I'm really wondering how Sony continues this process. Venom: The Last Dance might have squeaked out a little bit of profit, but going backwards, Morbius, Madam Web, and now it appears Kraven are all big losers for the company, and I feel like at this point Sony probably should throw in the towel. They do have Beyond the Spider-Verse not too far out, and those films were big successes, but that I think was mostly due to Lord and Miller's control and sort of a lack of oversight from Sony proper, who I think are screwing up these films. Now, Sony's going to have a big decision to make. We are kind of hearing that most of the Sony stuff could be folded into the post-Secret Wars MCU. Honestly, if you just look at the numbers, Sony made more money from Spider-Man: No Way Home, a film produced by Marvel Studios, and its predecessors, than any of their other movies that they've made inside the Spider-Man universe. This means it would be a much better business decision for Sony to basically farm out these Spider-Man projects to Marvel, and although they might not get as many in theater, each of those projects would be much more profitable and better for the bottom line, and more importantly, not cost Sony money. Morbius and Madam Web both had a ton of red ink and were actually a net negative. So at this point, it sounds like Sony's going to have some pretty big decisions to make, and they're going to have to try to figure out if they're even moving forward at all anymore. How that works out, we're going to have to wait and see. Now, before you take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, ring that bell for all the updates, and make sure you get every notification, because we do daily Marvel and DC content, and we don't want you to miss any news.